It takes an idea, a spark of, what if we just do it? 1 month of paddling in Norway. And we are getting there by public transport. Experience on sea? Little to nothing. Our fitness level? We can improve. Courage? Yes, that we have for sure, and also the willpower to pull it off. My name is Michelle, and Liam. Liam jumped on board. We are into wild. We knew each other from studying photography, and have always enjoyed walking off the beaten track. At some point, we didn't want to tell each other about our adventures anymore. We wanted to share one. So we took our 6 backpacks and went north. After months of uncertainty and countless plan changes, the longed-for day came and we could finally start our journey. Getting on a train for a kayak trip may seem like a contradiction in itself. But in order to make this adventure as environmentally friendly as possible, we accepted the numerous travel days. Not traveling by plane, we saved 1,300 kilos of CO2 per person. With more than our body weight on our backs and a huge pile of luck, we made our way through Scandinavia and crossed the Norwegian border, heading for Bergen. That wasn't our original destination, but you have to be flexible during these times, especially when taking a trip the way we had in mind.
Wir fahren über Nacht. Wir sind wieder shoppen. Super. Luxury at its best.
Dann hat es ein Gefälle nach oben.
So it is possible to experience such adventures by train. After 4 days, we finally sat in our last train, and that view was already worth all the back pain from nights squeezed between bulky tables and sloping seats.
Jetzt sind wir in Bergen, es regnet, aber es ist Gott sei Dank nicht zu kalt. Der Mittag an Bolognese mit Spaghettis oder Mousse-Schokolade ist mir wurscht. So komplett egal. Hauptsache Essen.
Erster Tag, das andere beginnt. Wir fahren los.
Bergen welcomed us with its famous rain, and taught us the moment we walked out on that platform that the weather was going to be our biggest challenger.
Regnet ganz schön doll. Aber wir brauchen trotzdem Wasser. Bis auf die Unterhosen nass. Also zweiter Stopp, wir sind da drüber gefahren, über urhohe Wellen. Also das ist unsere Schule und die ist hart und die haut uns gleich einmal ins kalte Wasser. Kann man so sagen. Das sagt.
Dripping wet clothes became our normal, just as waves, wind, sun, and rain accompanied us every day.
Ich bin komplett nass bis auf die Unterhose. Und das jeden Tag. Auch jetzt.
By chance, we found incredible places: hidden bays, lonely islands, abandoned fishermen houses, magical forests, and small private paradises. Likewise, on the fourth day, after paddling through heavy winds, we found a nice little bay. We set up our camp and had no idea on the next morning it could have all been over. After waking up, I stepped out of our tent to prepare breakfast. As I blinked against the sun, I realized the kayaks had disappeared overnight.
Unsere Kayaks sind fort. Wir haben sie gestern relativ weit ausgezogen. A, es war nicht genug. B, es hat wer mitgenommen. So oder so bin ich gerade ohne Pass in Norwegen. Die Drohne ist weg. Mein privater Rucksack ist fort. Das Essen ist fort. Aber die Paddel haben sie halt auch mitgenommen, die Arschlöcher. Und dann haben wir die Paddel. Ja, ich frage jetzt einmal den Nachbarn, ob uns für die hinnigen Mannerschnitten die zerbröselten hilft. Unsere Kajaks sind fort und du scheißt dich auf wegen dem Z. Die Kajaks sind versichert. Das Z nicht, scheiß drauf. Umgekehrt.
High tide must have taken them, and we went to ask Finn, our neighbor, to help us look for the kayaks. After Finn drove us around for hours in his boat, we found out that the sea rescue team in Stavanger, our final stop, had already started a search mission. But luck was on our side, and we got both kayaks back on the same day. Nothing was missing. The first one was Liam's.
It's coming. Yeah.
One of the.
It's one of these. It's mine.
Yeah, it's yours. Yeah, it's yours.
Hello.
And mine was delivered by a fishing boat that evening. We met the crew in deeper water and were surprised by the ship's size. After this exciting day, we spent a joyful evening with Finn and his family.
Und wir sind so happy, dass der Tag so positiv verlaufen ist im Endeffekt. Also mit dem Scheißstart und dem unglaublich liebevollen Ende sind wir mehr als dankbar. Und ich glaube, das passiert uns so schnell hoffentlich nimmer, dass uns die Kayaks davontreiben. Aber wir haben sicher was gelernt dabei.
Every day turned out to be an adventure in itself. Every day is new, and unforeseen things happen all the time.
Wir schaffen es halt selbst nicht rüber zu paddeln. Es ist zu windig und zu große Wellen.
3 Schläge vor und 2 zurück. Das macht mich ein bisschen grantig, weil das eigentlich so nicht so eine smarte Idee war, dass wir dort
so weit von dir entfernt zu sein. Aber es war nicht möglich, es dir zu sagen. Ein bisschen Harakiri-Aktion.
A few days later, Liam spilled cold camping gas over his hand. What didn't seem like a huge deal at first turned out as a burn, becoming worse and worse. Unable to constantly clean the blisters, we had to take a day off.
Heute haben wir beschlossen, dass wir da bleiben, weil meine Finger das nicht so toll läuft. Es tut weh, es regnet. We've been kayaking the last 1.5 weeks, and 5 days ago I spilled some propane gas from our camping cooker over my right hand. Okay, great. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you. Have a good day. Thanks.
On the next day, the wind got very strong and the waves dangerously high, so we got stranded at Onarheim. Sissel, a local, drove us to the doctor the next morning after inviting us to stay for a night at her place.
Die Autofahrt war nett, aber jetzt bin ich doch ein bisschen angespannt. Da haben wir doch relativ schnell erkannt, dass das eben eine Verkühlung, eine Verbrennung durch Verkühlung ist. Hat mir so eine Salbe gegeben. Flammen ziehen und hat gesagt, egal ob es jetzt aufplatzt oder nicht aufplatzt, immer nur das draufschmieren, 2 bis 3 Mal pro Tag, und in einer Woche soll es einmal besser werden.
Quick weather changes within minutes made us wonder where we'd be sleeping that night, or whether we could even finish the trip we had planned out. Sleeping in a tent with close to no privacy and paddling every day challenged us in a whole different way than we had ever imagined. Such adventures take everything and give everything back in the next moment.
Neblig, wellig, beschissen, regnerisch, kalt, Norwegen!
Ich sitze nicht zum Spaß hier in der Unterhose. Ich habe schon Erwartungen. Wo ist die Sonne?
Hour-long, breathtaking sunsets and hidden beaches all for ourselves made this trip so very special. And then it goes back to heavy winds and rainstorms in minutes. Overcoming these challenges together made us tougher and at the same time strengthened our friendship. Being able to make each other laugh and having someone with you that you can trust 100% makes all the difference.
Ich bin einfach urhappy, dass wir das geschafft haben.
Ja.
Auch wenn es Arsch war, aber wir haben es durchgedrückt und wir sind auf die andere Seite gekommen. Keiner ist reingefallen. Wir haben beide es geschafft. Bin ich voll stolz auf uns.
While our kayak cut through a mirror-like fjord, animals like dolphins, seals, and eagles honored us with their presence. we paddled along the landscape that left us in awe. Exactly like thousands of years earlier, when Vikings believed that they were made from the giant Ymir's unbroken bones. Sitting on the rocks and hearing nothing but the waves against the shore and the seagulls above our heads, we thought about how some of these places have hardly changed in the last 1,000 years. And it made us wonder how long mankind could enjoy the untouched nature of these fjords. We got to pause and appreciate how simple life can be and how little we needed to experience moments that we will remember forever. The roaring Sunfrost waterfall rushing down the side of the Okra Fjord represents a milestone of the first half of our trip. There we packed our kayaks and took the bus to Sauda, our next fjord from where we continued going south. It's not only the landscape that is extraordinary, the people are. We met so many great Norwegians. From folks who gave us water, to people who helped us out of a sticky situation, like Finn and Sissel. Others, like Kathy, shared their stories and offered us freshly caught fish, fit for kings. You take something with you and you leave something behind. That's what we believe. From the first stop, the first breakfast, the first paddle stroke, to the last day, the last meal, and the last sunset. You want to keep every moment. You want to feel every second. You want to capture every landscape, every memory put into stone, forever. These moments drew tan lines on our faces and left blisters on our hands. You can see the change on your face looking into the smooth water surface, but the actual difference cannot be seen from the outside, but found inside, comparing yourself from where you first started to where you are now. In the first night on the train, I wrote down the reasons why anyone would start such an adventure. For the stories that you can tell afterwards. For the first hot shower and the first real bed afterwards. On the last day, I again asked myself the same question. It's not what comes after, but what is now. The salty crust on our arms after a long day of paddling. The silence of water. The warmth of a campfire. The simplicity of thoughts, the loud singing in the tent, and spontaneous moments that make you laugh from the bottom of your heart. After some time, things became simple. You adapt some kind of routine, packing the tent, doing some yoga, stretching, putting everything into the kayak and moving on. Paddling gets easier as you get stronger. Pitching the tent, eating, playing cards, reading, and going to sleep. You feel like this could go on forever, but everything has to end.
And so you see what I've been telling you. It's nothing like it seems.
Reaching Lysa Fjord was truly the big finale. We talked about it for weeks, never sure if we were able to get there. But after some extra long days, we arrived in this otherworldly fjord. It was more beautiful than we could have possibly imagined. The steepest cliffs that we have ever seen led our eyes to the final destination at the very end. Lysa.
Wir bleiben hier, wir schlafen hier, wir machen die mega geilsten Sonnenuntergangsfotos und was weiß ich was für Fotos. Wir werden den ganzen Tag die Robben fotografieren. Und dann werden wir morgen später nach hinten fahren, unser Zeug einpacken, auf die Berge fahren, dann oben übernachten, wieder zurückkommen, eine super kurze Nacht haben und dann zurück nach Stavanger. Das machen wir und da gibt es keine Diskussion.
Then at some point you start to realize it's just some days till the journey's over, and you really don't want it to stop. In this moment, you are at the most unbelievable place you have ever been. The sun just hits right, creating stories in the stone, and you choose to stay for another night. Just then you spot seals, and the fjord turns yellow, pink, and blue. And you think to yourself, how can I even fall asleep here? On the next day, the water crashes into your kayak, and the wind is particularly strong. You met your limits, but you know you have already made it all the way here. From Bergen down south, paddling through islands, crossing big fjords, gliding alongside cliffs and beaches, all the way to the end of Okra Fjord. Traveling to a new starting point, leaving behind Sauda, experiencing the silence of Sauda Fjord, following enchanted coastal landscapes to finally floating in front of these mind-blowing creations of nature, facing the massive walls of Kierig Mountain.
Best moment ever.
It took every single drop of sweat on our skin, every ice-cold bath, every time scooping water out of the kayaks. It took it all so we could paddle the final stretch. And then, just moments away from the beach, we stopped.
Pure Glücklichkeit. Wir haben es echt geschafft. Fast 4 Wochen. Gegen Wind, gegen das Wetter. Das ist echt das Größte, dass ich das geschafft habe. Jetzt ist es klar.
We looked back a final time and then took the last strokes together. We felt pure joy. The Austrians who lost their kayaks in the first week became kayakers who paddled 300 kilometers from Bergen to Lysa. All we could think about while hiking up Kierig Mountain to spend our final night was, this is exactly what we want to do. We want to challenge ourselves in every possible way. And this is just the beginning. If we made it here, we feel we can achieve anything. And we want to feel everything.